Hey guys, in part 8 of our series we'll be creating a new room, as you can see here, to use as our base and linking our existing rooms together, like this room here for the battles and this room here for monster storage. So let's get right into it. Hey guys, so if you remember from last time, we were going to join up our rooms together so they all interacted with each other. To have this happen, we're going to need a third room, which I've called RM Home EXT for exterior. It's 1280 by 960, and I have downloaded some art assets from Open Game Art. I'll put a link in the description so you can find it as well. This is going to be our home base. So if you see there's like a gap in the trees, when the player walks through there, it's going to take us to the forest area, and when he goes into the door, it's going to take us to the storage area. We're going to make the storage area look better as well, but for now, as long as he can switch between the rooms, then that's what we're after. In this room as well, right now, all I have is OBJ house. It's a new object. I've created the house sprite. What I had to do as well, the tiles I used were 16 by 16, but because the player sprite is 64 by 64, I had to increase the size of the sprites by a factor of 4 to make them 64 by 64. A factor of 3, sorry, is it? I don't know. And just because otherwise the player character will be too big for the doorway. And in OBJ house, all I've done for now is I've got a create event, and I've set the image speed to 0 and image index to 1. This is because if we look at the house sprite, the first image is with the open door, and the second image is with the closed door. If we don't set the image speed to 0, then it's just going to cycle between these two endlessly. And the effect we're going to go for is when the player walks through, there's going to be a small couple of seconds where the door opens, and then we're going to fade into the interior. So that's why that's there. So what we're going to need to do is, in our original room, mine's called just room 0, it's a default name, we've got our OBJ main. Now we're going to delete that from this room, and we're going to move it to RM Home XT. So OBJ main can go there, and we want it to be the topmost object in the list, just so it spawns before anything else. And we're also going to make OBJ main persistent, because we're going to access the data from it as we change rooms. And in OBJ main, in the create event, is where we want to have any initialization scripts set up, like SCR colors. That only needs to be there now. So in OBJ storage, we've got SCR storage and SCR create monsters. We want to move this into OBJ main. So OBJ storage, we're going to comment them out for now, just so we don't lose track of where they were, and then copy and paste them into OBJ main. We've already got reset A features inside storage, is it? Yeah. And what about create monsters? So we don't need SCR colors inside create monsters anymore. Anything that we have commented out from last time, you can just delete it as well. We're not going to need it. And SCR storage. We don't need that. Comment it out. And in OBJ Battle Manager, take out SCR colors because it's going to be drawn from OBJ main. It's going to be accessed, sorry, from OBJ main. And really, I want these arrays to be inside OBJ main as well. So we're going to copy all of these and delete them from Battle Manager and OBJ main. Let's make a new script. SCR initialize or init arrays. It's not the best name, but it'll do for now. And I want them to be global arrays, so I'm just going to change the names of them to GA stats and GA attacks. Okay, so here we want global var GA stats GA attacks. And then in OBJ main, you're on SCR init arrays. So initialize GA stats. Right guys, so we should have an OBJ main that looks something like this. Calling all the scripts to set up the arrays. SCR colors. We're going to change the name of this as well to make it a global array. Monsters. Actually, in SCR colors, global var GA colors. Now this is going to mess up our code for everywhere that those arrays have been accessed, so now we're going to have to change that. Okay, so in SCR attack, just change this. Everywhere that it says A attacks, we're going to change it to GA attacks. Just use the search feature. See if there's any more. Okay. And OBJ Battle Manager. This is the main one. So wherever it says A stats, it's now become GA stats. Okay, if we have missed anything, it'll just give us an error, and it's going to be an easy fix. So let's have a look. Now in OBJ player, we have the code to spawn random encounters inside OBJ player, and when that character is in our home base area, we don't want him to spawn battles. So now we're going to need to move the code out of OBJ player, and I don't like having too many objects, but I don't think it's a problem to have an extra object for this, and we're going to call it OBJ spawn battles. And we're mainly going to be copying the code from OBJ player into it. Battle time, time till, yeah. So we want to copy these 3 variables and delete them from OBJ player and put them in the create event of our new object. And description will be setup variables. And in the step event of OBJ player, take out all of this. And put it in the step event of OBJ spawn battles. And when you say if battle equals false, and do this. And where it says player A features equals other.a features, we need to change that to OBJ player.a features. Or actually no, we're going to leave it as other, and there's no reason why we need to have the array inside OBJ player. So go back into OBJ player and we need to have battle equals false. You know what, no, actually delete that. Take out the bit where it says create monster and put that in the create event of OBJ spawn battles. Obviously we're going to access information from OBJ main to let us know which monster the player has, but for now we're just going to have randomly selected or randomly generated. In OBJ player step event, if instance exists, OBJ battle manager. So we want if not instant exists, because if there's a battle going on, we don't want to be able to move the character around. And that's all we're going to do in the player. There we go. Got there eventually. So now we can put a player object inside our first room. Put him in there. And for our next trick, we want to have a new sprite, which I'll just create quickly. We're going to call it SPR teleport. Origin top left. And I just want a transparent yellow for this. There we go. And I also want a new object, obj transport. Give it the new sprite. And I want it to cover these 4 squares. So if our player touches any of those squares, then it'll be able to warp to the next area. I haven't put any kind of collision detection in this room yet, so the player is pretty much free to move wherever he wants. Let's rename this transport obj transport field. And then we want another one, obj transport interior. We're going to have that one on the door. So if the player walks into that yellow object, he's going to be transported to the storage room, and if he walks into this area, he's going to be transported to the fields. So let us get this code done. So transport field, create event, x1 equals x, y1 equals y, x2 equals x plus sprite width. I'm hoping this will give us the width of our modified sprite. Let me just check the help code for that. Yeah, cool. So this will give us a scaled x, and y2 equals y plus sprite height. Let's just check the manual for this as well. If you middle mouse click, it brings up the manual. I use this all the time just to double check things, really. Okay, and now in the step event, transport player to field. If collision rectangle x1 y1 x2 y2 obj player false room go to RM adventure. I need to come up with some better names for our rooms. And then in the adventure, we should move our player down here just so it's he's around the area where he should be. And then we actually want him up here because we're going to have another object, obj transport home or transport exterior. Same sprite, create event. Let's just copy and paste the code from transport field. So in the create event, you want that, and we're going to say set up variables, and step event, we want to copy this and we want him to go to RM home, RM home ext. Let's get this done. So exterior, about there. This isn't going to work perfectly because when he gets transported back to home exterior, he's going to spawn there. But just to get things working for now, this is okay. Is that something we can fix afterwards? And then let's also copy the code from here again. So copy this code and we're going to put it in the transport interior, create event, and step event, copy this, put this here, and we want it to go to room. Let's just rename the room now. So RM, and we're going to call it home int for home interior, and our room 0, we're going to rename it to RM home int interior. And if we've typed it correctly, this should turn red, or whatever color you have set up for this. Okay, I think we should start testing our game now. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of errors, but hopefully not too many. One thing we haven't done actually is we haven't put the spawner inside adventure. What's this? Oh, have we? No. Okay. So OBJ spawn battles can go there, and we want it to be secondary to the grid, do we? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's run the game and see what happens. Okay, so OBJ storage drawer. Draw line 13. Oh yeah, of course. OBJ storage drawer. Should be GA colors, and if we check the battle manager, shouldn't there be one in the drawer event there too? Color, yeah. So color equals GA colors, and line 11 color equals GA colors. Let's just check for that A colors. There's only 2. Alright, let us now run the game again. Yeah. I forgot that OBJ main stores, creates OBJ storage. But at least the room transition's working. Okay. So now, in RM home interior, this is where we want to have OBJ storage. I should check there's nothing in OBJ storage that's gonna give us an error. Okay. Mainly that it's only accessing global arrays. So okay, all right. Now in our transporters, we don't really want them to be visible. So for now, we're going to set them to not visible. It's useful for testing, but I want to see how the game looks without them, really. Let's run the game again. One thing we don't have is we don't have transport back to the exterior from the interior, because I haven't made an interior house yet. So and it's still, you know what, I totally forgot to stop obj main from spawning obj storage. So shouldn't, oh there we go, a battle. So let's try Gore. That was a good attack. Get him again. And can we go full screen? No. Okay. And if we head back, we should be able to escape. Alright. So obj main. Everything that is to do with storage. We need to delete this bit first. Storage equals instance create depth storage. Don't need it. Copy all of this, and we're going to put it in the create event of obj storage. And we don't want to create the mouse here. We do want to have the mouse as persistent though, so we only need to create it once. Okay, let's run the game again. Still have some buttons that I've missed, clearly. Go back there. OBJ breed box, draw line 11. Features. Oh, so where it says obj main.a colors, change that to GA colors. That's what it can't access. That's what it can't find. Now let's see why we still have those buttons there, because we didn't delete them. My bad. Alright, so delete this and delete this as well. Is that right? Do we need this? No. Okay. Let's run the game again. Let's have a battle. We're going to lose. Yeah, we did lose. The last thing I want to do is in Battle Manager, in the step event, send player. So line 78 says send player back home if loses. We don't need to destroy the player object. We need to say room go to room home exterior. We're just going to test this, and then we're going to call it a day for this video. And then next time we're going to work on the interior for storage, and actually taking a chosen monster out to adventure rather than just a random creation. You can walk over buildings right now. So hopefully if we keep pressing the same attack we should lose. Yeah, we'll lose this one. Okay, good, so it sends us back home. Alright, that's it for now guys. I shall see you next time.